Previously, on Love Beyond the Wheelchair. That night, the rain fell endlessly, like the sky was trying to wash away everything I'd been hiding. I sat in the cafe long after she left, staring at the reflection of my own face in the window. I could still feel the tremor in my hands when I told her part of my truth, that the wheelchair wasn't always part of my life, but I didn't tell her everything. I couldn't. Fear is a strange thing. It makes you lie to the very person who makes you want to be honest. The next morning, I woke to the sound of her footsteps. Hye-jin walked into my room quietly, carrying a tray of warm porridge. She smiled that same soft, patient smile that never asked questions I wasn't ready to answer. "You should eat," she said. I looked away, pretending not to care, but my heart wasn't mine anymore. I asked her why she was still here, why she was so kind to someone like me. She said, "Kindness doesn't need a reason, Tae-hyun. It just needs truth." Her words hit me harder than any fall ever did. That afternoon, she cooked again spicy soup, the kind my mother used to make when I was a boy. She fed me gently, laughing when I coughed from the heat, and before I knew it, I smiled. Not the polite smile I gave to doctors or strangers, a real one. I whispered, "Hey Jin, please go. You deserve something better." She stopped, tears glistening in her eyes. "Don't push me away," she said softly. "You're what I want." For a moment, I forgot the wheelchair, the pain, the lies, and just felt human again. But fate has a cruel sense of timing. That evening, I heard a voice I thought I'd never hear again. Seo, my ex-fiancée, the woman who left me when the doctor said I might never walk. She walked in, rain dripping from her coat, eyes sharp as glass. "So this is where you've been hiding," she said. Her words tore through me like lightning. I didn't speak. I couldn't. She pushed my wheelchair in anger, and I fell hard. Before I could react, Hye-jin was there, kneeling beside me, her hands shaking as she lifted me up. In that moment, as she held me, I realized something. Love doesn't pity. Love protects. Love stays. Later that night, as the rain softened, I lay in bed, Hye-jin's hand still in mine. I told her she should have left when Min-seo did. She smiled that same quiet, fearless smile and said, "I stayed because I saw your soul, not your scars." Her words broke me completely and then built me again. For the first time, I believed that maybe, just maybe, I could be loved not because of what I had or what I lost, but because of who I was. That's when I decided. The lies, the disguise, the wheelchair, it had to end. I didn't want her to love a broken version of me. I wanted her to love me, all of me. And so, I stood. For the first time in years, I stood on my own feet. My legs trembled, but my heart was steady. When she turned and saw me standing beside the wheelchair, her eyes widened, filling with tears. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. In that silence, I knew she had always seen the man beneath the pain. That was the night I stopped pretending and started living. When she saw me standing, the world seemed to stop. Her lips parted, eyes wide, trembling, as if she'd just witnessed a ghost. I remember her whispering, "Tae-hyun, you can walk?" I wanted to speak, to explain, but words froze in my throat. All I could manage was a quiet nod. Her tears fell faster than the rain outside. And in that moment, I realized the truth I had feared so much had hurt her more than any lie ever could. We stood in silence for a long time. The wheelchair between us felt heavier than ever, not as a chair, but as everything I'd kept hidden. When I tried to move closer, she stepped back. "Why did you hide this from me?" she asked, her voice trembling. I swallowed hard. "Because I was afraid that once you knew I wasn't broken anymore, you'd leave." She shook her head slowly, heartbreak clouding her eyes. "You didn't have to be perfect for me to love you." Then she turned and walked away, and the sound of the door closing behind her felt louder than thunder. For days, the house was silent again. The air was cold, the nights longer. I sat staring at the empty chair, the one I no longer needed but couldn't bring myself to move. I wanted to chase after her, but guilt chained my feet stronger than any paralysis ever did. One evening, my sister Seo Hye-jin visited. She was always the strong one, calm, confident, the one who had taken over father's company when I couldn't. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, her tone firm yet kind. "You lied because you were scared," she said. "But if she loved you even when you couldn't walk, then you owe her the truth, not silence." Her words lingered long after she left. That night, I drove to the riverside, the same place I used to go before the accident. The water shimmered beneath the city lights, and I remember every moment that led me here. I pulled out my phone and typed a message to Hye-jin, but my hands hesitated. I deleted it again. How do you say sorry for breaking the heart of the only person who healed yours? Then, just as I looked up, I saw her, Seo Hye-jin, standing under the bridge, holding an umbrella, her hair wet from the drizzle. My breath caught. She turned and saw me too, and for a moment, neither of us moved. I walked toward her slowly, every step heavy with the weight of unspoken words. "Hye-jin," I whispered, my voice cracking. I was scared. I didn't want to lose you. She looked up at me, tears glistening on her cheeks. "You already did," she said softly. The silence that followed was painful, but necessary. I reached out my hand. She hesitated, then took it trembling. "Let's start over," I said. "This time with no lies." She nodded slowly, and under that pale city light, I pulled her into my arms. The world melted away, leaving just us broken, healed, and real. From that night, everything changed. I no longer hid who I was. I walked beside her, not behind or ahead. She laughed more, I smiled more, and for the first time, the sound of the wheelchair in the corner didn't haunt me anymore. It reminded me of where I had been and who stood by me when no one else did. Months later, as spring came to Seoul, I took her to the rooftop garden I had built with my own hands. Flowers surrounded us, the air filled with the scent of fresh blossoms. I knelt down, took her hand, and said, "You once told me love doesn't need perfection. You were right. It just needs truth." She cried before I could even finish, and when I placed the ring on her finger, she whispered, "You are my truth, Tae-hyun." That was the moment I knew the man who once sat alone in a wheelchair, afraid to live. I finally found not just love, but life itself. So if you ever find someone who sees you for who you are, even when the world doesn't hold them close, because sometimes love doesn't fix what's broken. It simply teaches you how to live with it beautifully. And that is how I found love beyond the wheelchair.
Your mother must have cooked with love. I'm taking back the company, So-yeon.
Then do it your way, Gway, not father's way.
AKA Movies brings you another interesting Korean romantic love story titled Love Beyond the Wheelchair, episode 12 to 15. I realized something frightening standing up hadn't made me brave. It only exposed how much fear I still carried inside. The night she walked away replayed endlessly in my mind, her footsteps fading, the door closing, the silence that followed louder than the rain outside. I stood alone in the room, my legs trembling, my heart heavier than it had ever been when I couldn't walk at all. I thought the wheelchair was what made me weak. I was wrong. Fear was, I avoided that room for days. The wheelchair remained there, untouched, like a quiet reminder of everything I had hidden. I could walk now, but I didn't feel free. Every step outside felt hollow. People looked at me and saw a man moving forward, but inside, I was stuck in that moment, her eyes filled with betrayal, confusion, pain I had caused with my silence. I told myself I hid the truth to protect her. Now I knew the truth. I hid it to protect myself. I started remembering the early days, the way she spoke to me without pity, the way she treated me like a man, not a condition. She never stayed because she thought I was broken. She stayed because she saw something worth loving, and I repaid that love with deception. The realization crushed me. Love wasn't something fragile I needed to shield her from. It was something strong enough to survive the truth if only I had trusted it. When my sister visited, she didn't look at me with sympathy. She looked at me with disappointment mixed with understanding. She told me something I wasn't ready to hear, that honesty delayed becomes dishonesty, no matter the intention. She said love doesn't need perfection, but it does demand courage. That night, her words stayed with me as I stared at the ceiling, listening to the hum of the city outside, wondering how I had been brave enough to relearn walking, but too afraid to relearn honesty. I went back to places that carried our memories, the cafe where we shared quiet smiles, the streets we walked together, the river where city lights danced like fragile hopes on the water. Every place felt incomplete without her presence. I practiced apologies in my head, but none of them felt enough. How do you apologize for making someone doubt whether your love was real? Then I saw her again, standing under the pale city lights, holding herself the way people do when they're trying not to fall apart. My chest tightened. I wanted to run to her, but I forced myself to walk slowly, not to prove I could walk, but to prove I could face her. When I spoke, my voice shook. I didn't explain my recovery first. I explained my fear. I told her how the accident broke more than my body, how being left once made me terrified of being left again, how I thought hiding my strength would keep her close. She listened, but silence filled the space between us. When she asked why I lied, I told her the ugliest truth, that I was afraid she would stop choosing me once she knew I wasn't helpless anymore. Saying it out loud made me realize how little faith I had placed in her love. Her pain was quiet, deeper than anger. When she stepped away again, it hurt worse than the first time, because this time, I understood why. I learned what it meant to sit with consequences. I didn't chase her. I didn't beg. I gave her the space I had denied her before. I spent long nights confronting my own reflection, learning that recovery doesn't end when your legs heal. It ends when your heart stops hiding. I stopped pushing the wheelchair into corners. I let it stay where it belonged, not as a symbol of weakness, but as proof of survival. Slowly, conversations returned, careful, honest. We talked about pain, about trust, about how love changes when truth is delayed. I listened more than I spoke. I let her anger exist without trying to erase it. And in that patience, something shifted. Love didn't rush back. It rebuilt itself quietly. I finally understood it was never about who stood or who sat. It was about who stayed emotionally present. When she reached for my hand again, it wasn't because I could walk. It was because I finally stood still long enough to be honest. I stopped performing strength. I stopped pretending to be unbreakable. I let myself be fully seen scars, fear, guilt, hope, all of it. I realized how much we had both grown. I brought her to a place that symbolized rebuilding a space filled with light, quiet air, and new beginnings. I told her that losing her almost cost me myself, and finding honesty gave me more strength than walking ever did. I didn't promise her a future without pain. I promised her a future without lies. When she chose me again, it wasn't dramatic. It was soft, real, and that was enough. Standing there, holding her hand, I understood something I wish I had known earlier. The wheelchair was never the enemy. Fear was. And love didn't remove my scars. It taught me how to live with them openly, without shame. That was how my story reached its end. Not with applause, not with miracles, but with truth, patience, and a love strong enough to exist beyond the wheelchair. Thanks for watching till the end. Share, like, comment, and turn up that notification bell to subscribe to my YouTube channel at AKA Movies.
You don't have to tell me everything tonight.
But if I don't?
I'm afraid I'll never find the courage.